last week, in addition to the acquisition process, we also talked about Lincoln Learn Origins just in general and what it was like founding that agency from the start. So building off of your Upwork story, growing on Upwork, becoming the #1 ranked LinkedIn agency on Upwork, how did you get into building the hybrid team that we have?
So initially it started with all contractors. Initially I came from the restaurant industry where labor was one of our biggest costs. And the thing that sucks about labor in the restaurant industry is that it's only semi-variable. Like, yes, you can bring on extra people and you can drop people off of a shift as you need, but there's an element where even if you open the doors, if you decide to open the doors and you decide to be open till a certain time, you need a certain minimum level of staff to keep the doors open. Even if no customers come in, there is like a minimum cost of labor that will always be there. It's not completely variable, it's just semi-variable. So what I was hoping to build with the freelancer model at first was labor that was completely variable, because those are the two big things I wanted to avoid that I saw as the biggest roadblocks of restaurant success was only semi-variable labor costs and the fixed costs of having an actual like place, because you have these fixed costs of having a facility, and then you have the bare minimum semi-variable cost of labor. So you have a certain threshold of money that you need to make before you can see a single dollar of profit. Like that was very prohibitive to like a restaurant being profitable. So I come from that environment knowing how hard it is to squeeze a profit out of these things, even if they're doing like 1.2 million in sales, how it can be hard to squeeze, X amount of dollars of revenue or profit. So I wanted to make labor completely variable. So what I did was and I'm kind of a spreadsheet junkie. So what I did was I listed out, here's the cost of the service, and here's what I can afford to pay an account manager, and here's the different, like, I did it all myself at first, and then I knew the averages of time. So I said, okay, well, it takes me an average of 15 minutes per day per client, which adds up to this amount per week, this amount per month, and at this hourly rate, I could afford to pay someone, and I had it worked out to a point where when I brought on a contractor to do account management for outreach, I think it was like $100 or it was somewhere between $100 and $150 a month per client, per month. And so their pay was dependent on this system of averages that I used. And some clients might take a little more and some clients might take a little less, but that averages, everyone who came through kind of agreed, like, that's true. That's the amount of time I spend. This weekly amount and this monthly amount makes sense for the effort I'm putting in. And from my perspective, it gave me something really beautiful. I could pay, my contractor had, 15, 20 accounts, and they had a set amount per client per month. So the client pays us a monthly amount and I pay my contractors a monthly amount. And there's like there's a margin that I can count on from there. And then the beautiful thing is they're all contractors, and most of them, were part-time. And so if they lost 5 accounts, my labor drops by exactly that amount. Like, I'm not overpaying on labor. And if they want to make more money and they take on a bunch of accounts, their pay goes up. So that was really, really attractive to me. And early on startup, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to afford a full-time salary. It would have been a huge risk for me, to pay someone a salary and then hope that I could keep this funnel going and give them enough work to make that beneficial for me. So out of just pure necessity, I adapted that approach at first. And then how it kind of shifted over time is